Hello, good evening, everyone. How's everyone's doing? So give me a thumbs up or just type one in the chat down below if you can hear me well so that I make sure all the audio is going fine before we begin today. So how's everyone? Like, is everyone here yesterday in day one? We cover a lot of what is brain fog, what is the type of the brain fog, the brain imbalance. And today, so if you haven't joined day one yet, just so you're aware, this 3-day masterclass, every day is different material. It's not like one day we repeat the same things. Every material is building on the day previous because we cover yesterday, we cover what it is, what is the symptoms, which brain area may be affected, and today we're going to do some assessment live together with you. And if you join, you should receive a brain chart today, and everyone is going to do the assessment together. Anyone here came yesterday or watched the replay? Type number 2 down below if you watch. If you haven't, just type number 3 or just type no and let me know. So should I be slowing down, fill in some of the missing gap, or I should just full send? Recording for day 1. Yes, we do send out if you sign up for the masterclass, yesterday we sent out the recording for everyone who have signed up as well. So if you haven't joined yesterday, it's okay. We're going to get a little bit slower and we're going to fill in some information as well. So where's everyone coming from? Can you type where you're coming from? Is it from US, UK, Australia? Let me know in the comment. So Australia, good. Effie is from, is it Effie? Am I saying your name correctly? Australia, Canada. Okay, Canada. Georgia and USA. Okay, awesome. So we have US, Canada, Australia. Awesome. Okay. Okay, let's get started. Yesterday, oh, by the way, let me check. So it seems like some is Sneha has been here yesterday and some of them are not. So let's review some of the concept of what we cover yesterday because that's important before we move on to any testing things. Before we continue, can I ask, can anyone tell me, like, are you coming here for brain fog, just to learn stuff? Do you have ADHD? Like, what kind of symptoms do you have, or are you wishing to, like, getting better? Let me know in the chat so that I can talk about more about your situation so that I know how to help you and in the testing as well. Yesterday, let's go through just a tiny bit of the detail. How many of you here are around like 40 years old? If you are below your 40, type 40. If you're above 40, type like you're 50 or just type your age down below and let me know. Because the brain fog, there's two important points that we mentioned yesterday. So first is the brain fog is the same. So brain fog, yesterday we covered brain fog is an early sign of cognitive decline. Brain fog is like taxes. It's like tax and gravity. There's something we cannot avoid. It's a part of the aging problem. Everyone will get brain fog once or at least few times in your lifetime. But the situations we explored yesterday is, the question is how well you want to get better. And just like tax, the question would become how many tax you want to pay, and then how do we maximize your income to take back home. For brain fog, research showed that yesterday we share more than 10% of the people above 40 will get brain fog. But what interestingly is people above 60 40% of them is going to become like dementia, Alzheimer. The reasons why 10% in 40 years old, but suddenly in 60 it skyrocketed to 40 years old is because this is a part of the aging process. But in people during 40 and 60, there is a golden period for you to do something to avoid those rapid decline in cognitive performance, so that you guys come to me for, oh, I have brain fog, I have ADHD, suddenly my memory is really bad. Some of them also having other somatic symptoms, like we covered yesterday. Depends on which part of the brain is being affected and which type of brain imbalance you might have. People are having different symptoms. Like for example, if you're having like a frontal lobe problem, most of the time, ADHD like procrastinations, emotional regulation problem, the executive function disorder. Like for example, like for the parietal lobe, some people having derealization, depersonalization disorder, because those are your body's Google map telling where's your body from. And also we mentioned the cerebellum. The cerebellum coordinate everything of your body functions, like your thought, your sleeping, your movement, your blood flow to the brain, your hormone. So yesterday we emphasized a lot about this cerebellum. And today assessment, which we're going to do it together live, we're going to cover a lot of this part of the area as well. And also, at the last part of the brain is the brainstem. How many of you? So one of the most common symptoms people don't realize about brain fog is people just think brain fog is just can't think, or they can forget things. They're also having a lot of somatic symptoms like balance issue, coordination issues, air hunger, emotional regulations. Like sometimes they bump into things for quite often. How many of you have symptoms like this? Type a yes down below if this sounds like you. So this is not uncommon, because this is something people, so Effie said, oh, I have all of this. Katie said yes. Oh, Sneha said, oh, I have all of those. That means the brain fog is just not a simple issues of you just can't think. It's not that simple. And the second things we mentioned yesterday is, interestingly enough, people who have brain fog also have ADHD. As we dig deep a little bit important more yesterday, ADHD and brain fog is the same things. I would say ADHD is like the more mild brain fog. And when the ADHD is severe, bad enough, it becomes brain fog. You used to procrastinate, you used to multitask, but when you get too far away, the brain fog just hits so hard, then sometimes people just get disabled, or they can't function anymore, or they just look at something and then they feel blank. ADHD and brain fog, or no matter what kind of symptoms or neurological symptoms you have, really depends on which part of the brain is being affected. Some is the frontal lobe, some is the parietal lobe, and we also mentioned a left brain frontal lobe issue, more like ADHD. And for the right brain, it's more like the autism-like situations. And we also mentioned one really interesting study about Israel. Because ADHD is the same as brain fog and people don't think about that. But in this research in Israel, they do a study of more than 100,000 adults, and then they trace them for around 2 decades, 20 years. And then they find out for those who have ADHD, they have 3 times higher risk of dementia, which is a type of brain degenerations, because ADHD is the precursor of the brain fog. They are inherently the same things. So that's why if you have ADHD, I want you to pay really attention. So if you have ADHD in your 20, you should be really like aware. But if you're having things, if you're 60, 70, probably it's still okay because it's already long enough to do such things. How many of you are working or staying at home? I want to do a statistics knowing how people being affected. Are you working? If you type you're working, type working. If you get disabled, like you lose your job, you have brain fog, so you can't work, type just at home if someone is at home, okay? It's really interesting. I didn't know this would affect so much until I started social media journey helping people like you guys. For brain fog, for professionals, most of them they're working as like a high paying, they're having a career, and then they used to be super sharp, but then one day they just kind of lose their train of thought, and then they lose their ability to excel in their work. So I have a client. Her name is Francis, and he work as a, I believe it's like a broker or like an insurance guy, and but he's like a in a top guy area. He have to deal and talk to different prospect about hey, why you should pick their company to work with, but not the others. But then one day, suddenly after the COVID, he's having air hunger, and also for he don't know why he just can't stare at someone's eye and talk. They feel like there's intense pressures that he ever never have used to before. So he came to me, and then we went the same brain assessment. Of course, just part of it we're going to show you today. We went through the brain assessment and find out his brain is dysregulated. More like more importantly is the bottom part of the brain being dysregulated, so that he is having not only just a brain fog, but also the air hunger, the focus, the anxiety coming from nowhere. It is all coming his brain. But luckily, in just 2 to 3 months, because his brain is really young, so we are able to help him regulate his brain, strengthen it, and tackle those imbalance. And right now, he's get back to work, having a happy life with his wife, with his dog, and start making the work back again. For those who lose their job because of brain fog, how would that, do you think it's good if you can get back to work when you heal your brain fog? If that's feel good, type good down below. Or maybe even you're not working, you're just kind of suffering from the brain fog. And I also have last week we have a interesting success story that we shared yesterday. There's a 72 years old grandma. When we measure her brain function, there's only 50% functioning and 50%, 50. When she come to me and I was asking, hey, why does this brain fog thing so important to you? Like 70 years old, just stay home and rest, just enjoy some family time is enough. But then she told me, no, I don't want that. I want to live my life to as good as possible. So what she's struggling is she just can't go to do volunteer work at church, and she feel those anxiety. She feel like her eye is straining so bad. She feel like her body moving slow, like bumping into things. Like when she walk to the church, she always feel like she's falling, and she's worried. Like in for elder, when an elderly fall, usually is done because they usually fracture something. They have to be hospitalization for a long time. Usually it's done for them. So she don't want it. So she come to me, and then I told her, hey, we don't know how well you can get better because it's getting old. But do you guys remember yesterday we mentioned the neuroplasticity? Everyone can heal, no matter how old you are, if you're doing the right things. And then the question is, how many time are you willing to put in, and how many consistency you're willing to put. So my client dive deep, do the assessment and follow my instructions, and in just 2 months, we're still ongoing for 2 months. And right now, her brain will be retest. Well, she is working at 100% right now from the test. So that's something that what we're going to show you today can help you achieve that. And the conditions they are having, can anyone tell me what will be the type of the brain is having, like what happened in the brain that make people brain fog? Anyone here yesterday can let me know in the chat. So the situation is called the brain imbalance. Unless we will really quick, as it is super important when we do that assessment together. So brain imbalance. There's two types. It could be left brain versus the right brain, or the higher brain versus the lower brain. Our brain has two sides, just like you have two arms and leg. The brain has to work at a certain level to operating together. So just like a scale. If one part of the brain is not working as well as the other part, the whole brain efficiency is going to be slowed down. So for example, let's say your brain is an iPhone factory. There's a different apartment inside the factory. Some is printing the iPhone boxes, some is assembling the iPhone. Let's say if they can make 1,000 iPhone per day, but they can make only 500 boxes every day. How many iPhone can they sell outside every day? Can anyone tell me? Do you think like they can still sell 1,000, or they can sell only 500? Only 500, right? So this is the same things in the brain. If one part of the brain is working slow, it will slow down all other part of your entire brain and nervous system. When I talk about the brain, the nervous system, the root cause is in the brain because that's the master control. So that's why if one part of the brain slow down, everything will suffer and slow down, just like a factory. So left and right brain imbalance usually causing the symptoms would be the left brain, usually ADHD-like symptoms. The right brain, more like an autism-like symptoms. This is more like a mental, like a psychological effect. But for somatic symptoms, because as I mentioned yesterday, the characteristic of this neurological issue is usually one-sided. So people would also feel like they would DC on one side, so they feel like they're always swaying to one side, they're turning to a side, same side, or they will feel tight on the chest, on the back of the arm, on the jaw, on the back, on the feet. This is all on the same side because half of the brain, they cannot control half side of the body as much as they want to be. So that's a classic sign if half of the brain don't work as much. This is called the left and right brain imbalance. And then the second part is the higher brain versus lower brain. Can anyone guess what do the higher brain and the lower brain do? Anyone here yesterday can tell me? It looks like everyone here is new face here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Okay, anyway, let's do it again. So the higher brain versus lower brain. The higher brain is what makes us human, what makes us a civilized human, the frontal lobe. When we talk about the frontal lobe, we always say, "Oh, ADHD having a frontal lobe issue," because it cannot. The frontal lobe is what control your urge. As a human, we have a violence and primitive tendency. We're always having the evil thought. We always want to do bad things. So that's why they illustrate in the Hollywood movie. So we feel good when we watch those violent, like shooting, beating the bad guy types of movie, or like an even horror movie. But why if we always having those evil thoughts, why don't we just do it? Because we have this frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is what stop us from doing that uncivilized thing. How many of you know someone or have been to a car accident, or know someone been to a car accident, got some types of concussions or head injury? Type head down below. If you met those type of people, because their frontal lobe most of the time they get affected, so what you will see on them is they are hard to regulate their emotions. Their personality could change. They feel tired. They feel headache. Sometimes they just do whatever they want. They speak inappropriately in different social settings. So this is a frontal lobe dysfunctions. And then they just do whatever they want. So if you use the same concept, ADHD is like the similar things. ADHD people, they want to touch everything. They want to talk whatever they want. They were fidgeting around. They just can't stop whatever they are doing. So this is also a frontal lobe problem. But it just depends on how bad it is. If that's just really mild ADHD, a little bit more severe, like concussions. And this is an interesting study show that they do a study in the U.S. The max level prison, the supermax prison in U.S. And then they study all the criminal frontal lobe by their eye. They measure their functions for all the people who commit the serious crime. They have a dysfunction frontal lobe. So they have a theory of if they can fix someone's frontal lobe, that they can prevent them from become a criminal. So this is an interesting proposal. But this is why. And then let's go back to the higher brain versus lower brain and why is it related to you. For the lower brain, we mentioned yesterday, what do the lower brain do? If the higher brain is what make you a civilized human, the lower brain is what make you survive in this world. For example, like your breathing, your heart rate, your heart is like pumping, the blood pressure, your energy, your stress and anxiety center is regulated from this brainstem. So without this, you drop that. So that's why when people get when someone twists someone's neck, they drop that because they damage this brainstem. When this area is damaged, you can't breathe, your heart stop pumping, you have the anxiety, the balance getting bad. But of course, you're not like breaking and killing someone. If this brain, the efficiency is slowing down, just like the factory, people were having air hunger, brain fog, like a hormonal issues, the gait, walking. You see the pink box? It helps you walk automatically as well. Also the posture, the fine movement, the balance, basically what we describe as a dysautonomia today. So this is where it's mainly get affected. So if you're having a higher brain versus lower brain, usually people having a dysautonomic symptoms, or we call the nervous system dysregulations. Is everyone tracking so far? Type tracking down below and then we can move forward. And let's answer some questions. Okay, oh, Annette is here. Welcome, Annette. Tracking, okay. Let's read some questions. Okay, and that said, oh, sounds like frontal lobe injury are similar happen to someone undergo traumatic stress. Exactly. There's a lot of research show that. So if you want to keep your brain healthy, we also mentioned yesterday, hey, nutrition play a lot of. So there's three things your brain need to be healthy. We mentioned yesterday, hey, what you eat, what you drink. Like if you constantly eating processing food, like the American diet, you're not eating the whole food. Your brain don't have the correct fuel to operate. So that can be the huge things why people having Alzheimer dementia this day, because there's a inflammation problem that your brain are soaking in a toxic environment and all the waste build up and then they can't get out, so that the brain become accumulated by the waste, and that's how Parkinson Alzheimer can develop. And second is the oxygen. Are you breathing good enough? Oxygen also supply your brain health. When your brain don't have enough oxygen, what happen? That's stroke. Stroke is the lack of oxygen and the brain cell die. So for every one of you, even though it's not that severe, but if the brain is chronically lack of lower oxygen, then the efficiency slow down, just like the factory. If they don't have the enough electricity, if they don't have the enough resources, the factory slow down as well. But this too is easily can be searched online. And yesterday I make a promise to you guys is I'm not going to give you something you can Google online, because if that you don't have to come to me, you can just Google. And then the last thing is you cannot even Google online is the last part, is the activations. Your brain need the correct activations and stimulations to keep it running. If your brain is the iPhone factory, the food is the iPhone, is all the electrical component. And then the oxygen is the power line. It supply the conveyor belt, the assembly. And the activations, which we're going to go over today and tomorrow, is the command and the coordination, the instructions of how to build an iPhone. With no matter if you have the component, if you have the electricity, but if you don't know how to put it together, your brain still don't work. So that's why this is what I see is missing currently. And back to the questions, why the frontal lobe issue sounds like under stress. The research show stress is the number one cause that will slow down and suppress those frontal lobe functions. Because when we're under stress, what's that mean? It means you're under threat. Under threat, your brain will switch to the sympathetic mode, so it switch to more primitive thinking. You don't use your frontal lobe anymore, because the only things you are important is make sure you stay alive. So frontal lobe, not important anymore. And our genetic design, what to do? We're going to go hunting, we go kill people, we defend ourselves. This is what happened a few thousand years ago. Today, we are still the same things. But because the frontal lobe and the safety environment make us strong, so we don't do that violence things anymore. But when you're under stress, everything take over. So that's why people having concussions, they just go emotional outburst, punch people, they defend yourself, things like that. So if you see your friend, they just suddenly lose it, emotional outburst, that's why they need your help to tell them, hey, you should do the things we are going to show you next. Okay, let's get to the point. Can anyone guess, if we have to track the brain, what kind of test should we do? The hard truth that no one's know, or the number one myth or number one misconceptions about testing the brain is, everyone when we trying to say, hey, test your brain, everyone thinks something like this. Is it? Type MRI down below. If the first thing you think of is this, let me know in the below. In fact, this is only one of the many tests you can test your brain. And this, when you see the photo, is only a beautiful pictures of showing what your brain look like. It didn't tell you how well it's operating right now. It's just like if you want to test your iPhone, how fast it's running right now. Will you open the case, break it down open, or put it on an X-ray, look at the component inside, and tell me, hey, how fast is this iPhone able to run? Or you will do the opposite. You'll open tons of apps, you'll run a diagnostics program to measure how well it can measure certain program. Which one will you do? Would you just open the case, or you will run the program? Type case down below if you think we should open it, or type program down below if we should just measure how well it runs certain things. Yes, we have to measure the program. If you still remember my story I shared yesterday, most of the issue with the medical society right now is they're good at really saving people's lives. So if I'm dying, if I'm having like with a tumor or something like that, I would definitely go to medical doctors. But medical doctors has nothing to do with health or the function, how well your body is operating, because medicine fundamentally is designed to save life, not about making you healthy. It doesn't really matter as long as you stay alive right now. So most of the time when you go to the hospital, they run the test with you, and then they usually will say, oh, your number looks good, you're fine, you go home. But in fact, you feel miserable and it's still not quite there yet, because they are not using the correct test. To test how well your body is functioning right now, we must use a functional test, measuring how well your body is doing right now. And functional tests, there's a lot of type. And today we're going to show you is the functional neurology test. Have anyone here went to a neurologist before? If you've been to a neurologist, type just neuro down below. Let me know if you have such experience. When you go to a neurologist, the first thing they do for you is not, hey, let's put you in an MRI scan and let's see what's going on. No. They will do the clinical neurology test to measure what most likely is the problem. Is there any red flag underneath? So if you look at these people walking, we already know there's a tons of problem by how he walk. Can anyone guess why? Because by looking at how people walk, we will know, hey, if they have stroke, if they have different brain problem. Let's say the left brain control the right side of the body. So the neurologist, when he look at this person, hey, his right side of the body don't work as well. So left side from the left brain all the way to the right side of the body must be something wrong. So they do a series of exam so that they know, and they will narrow down which area might be affected. It's so simple. It's right under our eyelid, but we're just not trained. We're just not used to see in such way. So except for walking, we can also know, hey, do they lost their balance? Is their eye change? Do their face droop? Do they feel weakness in the arm? Can they speak, or they can speak but they speak gibberish? So all different signs telling us which part of the brain might be being affected. So that's how we're going to use different tests to narrow down which part of the brain is being affected right now. Is everyone having this chart right now? If not, you can just, we sent out to the email yesterday. If you don't get the email, make sure you go back to sign up the link so you don't miss out the good stuff. So if you don't have the chart, no worry, just grab out a piece of paper and draw something like this, and we're gonna do it all together. As always, make sure what I'm gonna show you, it is not for diagnosis. It's not a medical advice. It's just a sharing event, okay? Everything I mentioned is is not meaning, hey, you have a brain tumor, you have a bleeding, something bad has happened. No, it's not that. It's just measuring how well your brain is working right now. So if you're really worried, make sure you go to see your doctors, okay? Okay, let's jump into the first test. So the first test is called the finger tapping test. And let me show you how is it looks like. So let's see this old grandma is doing. Let me see if I can enlarge it. Okay, let's see one more time. So what you have to do is to open your finger, close and open, and see how fast your finger is moving. So this is more like an extreme situation. So let's do it all together. If you want to get as much as you out from this workshop, I suggest you open your camera so we know how everyone is doing. And let me enlarge my screen as well so I can see everyone. So I see Winnie here. I see Hasa here, if I'm saying your name correctly. And let's see. Okay, let's do it together. So for the first thing you do is you're going to help me put your right hand up. Either hand is okay. So let's say put the right hand first, and you're going to close all the other 3 fingers. And then you're going to open the finger, close and open, close and open, and then do it as quick as you can. So most people, they would do this. No, this is cheating. So I'm going to open as big, close, every time open as big. So this is really truly checking if you can move your finger. So do it as fast as you can. So do it as fast as you can, okay? And then repeat the same thing. So you want to do like for 10 seconds. And then you're going to repeat the same things on the other side. On the other side. Yes. Yep, do it as quick as you can. And then the only things I want you to notice is one side feel harder to just move the finger. For example, they can move, but then they would kind of like, they would hesitate for 1 or 2 times, and then they will speed up again. I want you to notice that. And then repeat the same, the other side. How many of you feel that one side is harder? Just type hand down in the chat, or you can. Okay. For the side, so this test looks super simple, but what is it really means? So this test is one of the gold standard of screening for Parkinson's disease, but it's not just for Parkinson. Because just moving your finger is one of the hardest thing and require a lot of coordinations from your body. For example, to just move your hand, your finger, your brain need to know where's my finger, where's my hand. I have to hold my arm here, and at the same time, I have to keep the same speed and rhythm. That's the one of the hardest thing you can ask someone to do. So that's why when you see someone, they are struggling of moving their finger, just like I saw in the video. So if your fingers can move like that, is really bad. That means the brain, a lot of brain structure is gone. But the early sign that is telling you is if you do this, and let's say you hesitate one time, and then you speed up again, that is also a flat. Something is you need improvement. There's a lot of things you need to do to keep that moving again. Some people will skip one time, or they skip two, or they would do this and then they would skip 3 times. Or some people, they would do this and then they would move their face. They would do this. So that is also telling us the brain is not working. They have to recruit other brain area to just move the finger. So this is something not ideal as well. So for such case, let's fill in this chart together. If, oh, by the way, I know what you guys are thinking. How many of you would think, hey, my left hand feels slower because I'm right-handed, so my left hand must feel slower. How many of you, the non-dominant hand is slower? Type it in the chat, let me know. So if that, yes, research, they also do tons of research show that it's no matter if you're dominant hand or non-dominant hand, their speed should be the same. And for some people, their dominant hand is even slower than the other side. Then that's, if you're using the same hand every single day, but that hand is slower, that means somewhere in the brain is not functioning efficiently. So from over time, those could lead to a problem. So don't be alarmed yet, because we only do one of the many tests. One test didn't mean anything. If when we do 4 or 5 tests, it all looks the same, then probably you should do something. So let's get back to the chart. If your left hand is not working, that means somewhere from the right side of the brain all the way to the cerebellum, which is going to help you coordinate your body, to your left hand is not working. So in such case, if your left hand finger is low, I want you to just put one tick or just one cross, put whatever you want, just put one tick on the right cortex here. So that's the right frontal lobe. If the left hand can move or is slowing down, that means your right frontal lobe is not working. The right brain is not working. On the other hand, if your other hand, like your right side, is not working, put a tick on the left cortex. And then let's move. So make sure you write it down, because at the end, we're going to help you draw a pattern to identify is it a higher brain or lower brain, or left and right. So we have to do it. I also share a story about yesterday. So this test is for like a early screening of how well your brain is doing. If you remember James from yesterday, he's a banker, is also a board member of one of the biggest bank in the state. When he come to me, he can walk, he can't even move the finger anymore. And then this is how the brain looks like. Chunk of the brain is missing. So that usually takes 10, 20 decades to appear. So if you are seeing sign today, make sure you take actions right now. Lifestyle change, do the therapeutic brain exercise I'm going to show you. This is going to help you slow down the things a lot and keep the brain as healthy as possible. So if you want to get your brain as 25 when you're 80, so you're going to pay attention of these workshops. And then one of the most common things is I get frustrated the most from my patient is most people just want to wait until the things go really sideways. They only take actions when the shit hit the fan. It's just like the brain or the body, just like your car. If you're driving, would you wait until your engine light. So would you go check your car once the engine light has been light up? Or would you wait? Oh, engine light up is okay. Let's drive a little bit for a while. But then if you ignore it, maybe the engine catch a fire and end up, maybe you can save the car, or you would even pay a lot way more cost to repair what is broken, or sometimes it's not even repairable. So if the problem right now can be changed so easily by just eating healthier, sleeping better, drink more water, and doing the therapeutic brain exercise, and it's going to save you a lot of trouble in the future. Would you like to take actions right now? Let's say, I'm going to ask everyone a question right now. So let's say, would you want to do something super easy and it's going to save you a lot of hassle in the future? Or you're going to wait until all the problem is appearing? Let me know in the comment. If you want to take actions right now, change your lifestyle, you type right now. If that's okay for you, just type later. Let me know in the comment. It's really interesting how people are thinking this day, and I'm not blaming them, as I know life these days is really stressful. Like, as a grown adult, like, we have work to do, we have to make sure we earn enough money, we should take care about our family. But then the hard truth most people don't realize is they fight really hard to work, but then end up they trade their health for money, and then when they got all the money in the world, they try to use the money to trade back the health. But usually at that time, is too late. Sometimes when I see my client, so my mindset right now is, if something you can do right now, simple habit every day, why not? Why do we have to wait until, like James? He's only 60, but then sad story, he has to prepare his will in 60. So anyway, so let's move to the second test. So second test is testing your cerebellum, the small brain. Anyone remember what's special about the cerebellum? Even though it's called the small brain, it's the most important structure in the entire brain. Even more important than the frontal lobe, in my opinion, and in the therapy as well, because the cerebellum contains of more than 70% of your total brain cell. So this tiny part consists of way more brain cell than the entire brain. So that means this is the gold vault. This is the vault containing all of the good stuff. And the reasons why this is so important is the cerebellum coordinate everything in your entire body. Not just your balance, not just your DC, but also your thinking, your blood flow, your thought, your sleeping, your hormone, your emotions. Everything is going to be organizing by this cerebellum. So it's just like the program. This cerebellum is going to be instructing and coordinating how the factory work, how to make the factory working as efficient as they can. If you're making an iPhone, do you make the paper box first, or do you make the iPhone first? Or do you put the case down first, or you put in the screen? So you have to put in all the components before you put the screen cover off. If the coordinate is off, maybe your iPhone make with the case, but they forget to put something in it. So this is how important this cerebellum is right now. So let's do the test all together. Okay, this test is also super simple. Can you put both hands up like this? So what you have to do is turns up Okay, you're gonna palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down, and then you're gonna do it as quick as you can. Do it as quick as you can. So the only things I want you to notice is one hand is slower, like the finger tapping, or is one hand would cannot hold in the same spot when you do it. Maybe one hand would move down, drift up, or left and right. Let's see how everyone's doing. Okay, I see someone can even turn up and down. So that's also one of the positive. And one someone like okay, so this is the first test. And then the second test is the same things, but what you have to do is tuck your elbow at a 90-degree and do the same things again. Do the same thing. Do the same thing. Usually, this is usually when people notice one hand is significantly slower or way discoordinated, or they cannot hold in the same spot. I want you to notice which side is it. And then the last part is, so do either hand. I want you to go palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down, and then do it as quick as you can. See if you can hold it in the same spot. Some people, when they do it, they would suddenly stop and then they would do it again. They hesitate. Those hesitations is also a sign. So notice if you can hold it in the same spot, or sometimes they would do this. Notice that, and repeat on the other hand. Okay, good. So how many of you notice one hand is significant way slower, and it's kind of like, oh, I feel my hand is really weird, I can't stay in the same spot? Type it in the chat down below. Which side is it? Left hand slower. Is the left hand also, when the finger tapping, is it also the left hand slower? Usually it would be the same side. If both is the same, is it both feel slow or both is fast? Because sometimes people can't even, they would turn like this. They would turn and then they think it's the same, but the truth is they can't even do it. So make sure you know which type is which one. Okay, someone said, hey, finger tapping a little bit noticeable, but some of them, and then for the turning, that's way more noticeable. So that's what we're trying to do. So all this test is telling how well your brain are able to control your body. And this is a really specific task to testing which part of the brain is working right now. So those tiny difference is measuring how good is those brain area is working right now. So let's walk through what this test is actually measuring. So this test is called the DDK, but it doesn't really matter. So if you can just Google, is this a testing how your cerebellum is functioning right now? So the inability to make rapid alternate movement is a sign of the cerebellar dysfunctions. So this is something, not something I make up. This is well documented in the textbook as well. And let's see what would be a really bad example looks like. So this is the finger tapping we just did. If you notice, so she can still do the finger tapping, but let's see what she do when she's trying to turn the hand up and down. So left hand kind of okay, but you can tell her arm cannot be holding in the same spot. when he do more and more, the harder it become. And then the same things, we are clapping the hand. You can tell she's still clapping, she's still moving, she's still leaving. But you can tell the quality of the tapping is quite bad. Ideally, she should up and down in a sense like this. Even this is bad, but this one barely do it. So this lady has a cerebellum ataxia, which is a pathological condition, which means the brain, the structure is gone. When the structure is gone, it will become this bad. On the other hand, what we can learn from this is, if your hand cannot stay in the same spot perfectly, I know all the tests look super subtle. Even you don't really realize, or maybe you think that's normal. But those subtle signs is reflecting, hey, something is not quite working in those neural pathway right now. So even though it's subtle, but a lot of subtle things accumulate and it become really noticeable and causing people symptoms. And look at another example. Oh, it's the same. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, so let's go back to the chart and fill in together. Okay, let's go back to the chart. So let's say someone said, oh, my left finger is getting slow, so one tick on the right side. And as for the cerebellum, we are the same side is testing this brain area. For the test we just did, it actually has 3 parts. One is for the shoulder, one is for the elbow, and one is for the wrist. So for the first test, if you do it like in the shoulder, left hand is lower, I want you to put 1 mark in the left side of the cerebellum here. And if your elbow, when you tuck your elbow, it also becomes lower, I want you to put another tick here. And extra, if you feel like when you do this, you feel harder on one side, or sometimes, oh, you feel weird, put another tick mark here. Or sometimes the side would flip. Let's say when you do the shoulder, the left is difficult, but when you do the elbow, the right hand gets lower. I want you to put a tick on the right side. Anyone tracking so far? This is the things getting a little bit complex, so let's do it together. If you have any questions, you can type it in the chat, or let's see. Let's answer some questions. So let's use how about we pick someone to as an example together who want to be a volunteer. If you want to be a volunteer, you can turn on your mic. And so Sneha is raising her hand. Okay, let's see. Let's do it together. Okay, Sneha, let's do it all together.
Yeah.
Can you put your left hand up for me? Like this. So open, okay. Close and open. Close and open. So do it as quick as you can. Super, super quick. So don't do this. Open as big as you can. Yes, like that. Okay, repeat on the other side. Okay. Anyone notice which side seems lower? Or Sneha, can you tell me which hand do you feel slower?
Right hand.
The right hand, okay. Let's try one more time in case someone missed it. So left hand, do it one more time. Okay. She can still tap, but when she tap more and more, you can see she's slowing down and also is getting fatigued. So it's moving, but she's moving like this. So every time we have to do it as big as we can. Sometimes we don't really notice that it's just autonomic. If we can move like this, our brain just want to cheat and they want to move really, really small to just do the task. But by kind of cutting the corner, we know that the brain just can't do it. So that we do such things. So that's how we
Is
think it
this
as well.
like, is this cutting the corner? This is my initial reaction.
Yeah, it's short. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Is this cutting the corner if I
Yes,
relax?
because
Okay.
in order to really testing, so this is super easy. We have to do it as big as we can to really stress the brain to do it. Okay, so right now you can tell she can do, but sometimes she will hesitate. So let's repeat the same things on the right hand.
Same thing's happening.
Okay, so even though the webcam is quite blur, but if you look at the shadow, sometimes you see she stop one time, two time, and then go back, and then stop again and go back. So this is something we are looking at. Is the brain efficient enough to hold that sustained actions? If it is not sustainable, that means the brain is easily getting tired. So that means something's maybe needs some work there. So for her, let's fill in the form together using her as an example. So she cannot move her left finger. So I will put like one time, like one mark. So both of her hand can move. But then the right hand is way more not ideal. So I will put two mark here. So if we know the left hand is controlled by the right brain, so right brain here, I will put one tick here. And then for the left brain, because her right hand can move twice as much, I will put two tick here. At this point, we know both sides might be not working, but the left side is way more severe. Okay, this is all we know right now. So let's do the second test. Can you put hands up like this for us? Okay, go palms up and palms down and do it as quick as you can. Yep, do it as quick as you can. Okay, can you try to do faster? Okay, you can stop. Can you tell us, do both sides feel hard for you? And then when I try to tell you go hard faster, you can do it. But when you go faster, you get tired really quick. Is this something you feel like? Yes. And which hand do you feel way slower if I have to compare? So if you look at her right now, her arm, she can do this, but she would like going sideways. If you look at the shadow, her arm would go sideways. That's also telling us the arm cannot stay in the same spot. Okay, so let's say right now we can determine which side is lower, but we know both sides is hard. So what we can do right now is, this is for the cerebellum. The left hand is also one mark, can move, and then the right hand also cannot move. So I'll put 1, 1. So both sides is affected. So Sneha, can you do the second test for us? Tuck your elbow and do the same things again. Yes. Usually it's more significant right here. So can you do it faster? Okay. So right now you can see a lot of shadow, but is your left hand way harder to you? Okay, left hand. The way how I know is looking at the shadow. If the shadow is way bigger, that means her arm cannot hold in the same spot. And because of the webcam, you know, there's more blur. If the frame rate is getting lower, that means the left hand is lower than the other side. This is just for me, but for you, I bet you can know your body way better than me. So for her case, let's do it together. So both hand is low. So I put one tick on left, one tick on the right side, but the left hand is way slower. So I will put another mark here. And then the next test we're going to do is we're going to... Sneha, can you do this for us? Use the left hand. Yeah, we're testing the left hand here. So if you look at her elbow, you can see her elbow is keep winging up and down. That means it's just really hard for her to coordinate. Okay, can you repeat the same things on the other side? Yes, so this is way more significant. Sneha, do you feel like the right hand is more smooth when you do this? Okay, so that's how you can tell which side is harder. The side that is harder, that means somewhere in the brain is not working so well. So thank you, Sneha. Just so you're aware, we are trying to measure how well your brain is doing. We're not saying, hey, you have a problem, but thank you for showing us the test. Thank you so much. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. So for her, the left hand is way slower again. So we know that the left cerebellum, so the left hand must be something's going on. For the left hand is responsible for the left cerebellum. They're not opposite side. So if your left hand is slow, I want you to circle the left cerebellum. If your right hand is slow, just like the opposite, I want you to circle the right cerebellum. Everyone checking so far? Or anyone needs some clarifications? Okay, and then let's move forward. So the next one, we're going to check your balance. This test is called the warm blood test. The name is not important, but the key point is we're going to see how your balance right now. Everyone said their balance is good, not until they really test it. Because we walk every day as a dynamic like actions, balance become easy. But we intentionally ask you to stand in a certain position. So let's say for this guy. So when he closed the eye, so right now it's not closing. When he closed the eye, you see his body will shake and it will fall. So this is also a sign that cerebellum is not working. Okay, everyone want to do that together? So let's stand up together and then we're going to test how the balance. When you do this, make sure there's nothing around you. If you feel like you're falling, catch yourself, okay? I don't want you to like hit yourself on live right now. Okay, awesome. So I want you to stand up and let me move my mic. Okay, I want you to stand up. Everyone standing up. Okay, good. So what you have to do is I want you to, let's say this is your feet. I want you to put 2 feet together. 2 feet together, yes. 2 feet together. And then look straight forward. Don't look at the webcam. Just look straight forward. And then I want you to close your eye. I want you to notice, is your body swaying to one side? Is it hard to balance? Usually, people are fine right now. If you fall immediately at this position, that's not quite ideal. I want you to notice, do you sway to the left side or the right side? Usually people will sway to the same side. The finger tapping is slow. It could be back and front. Everyone is different. So everyone seems okay. I see someone is spiraling. That's okay. I want you to notice that. And then open your eye. And then we're going to do the next test. For this one, I want you to put the left feet in front of the right feet. Left feet in front of the right feet, just like you are doing a DUI test. Left feet in front of your right feet. Same things, look straight forward and then close your eye. Usually this is where the issues might come out. You will notice maybe the sway become way harder. Someone might fall. I saw someone fall. So if you fall, just open your eye. Don't hurt yourself, okay? And if this is okay, switch the leg. Right feet in front of the left feet. Okay, yeah. I saw Winnie here. Make sure you don't hit yourself, okay? Okay, so this is the balance. And then one more thing. If you're still okay, let's do one more. So this one's super simple. Both feet just standing together. And then what you have to do is you're going to do a strict leg raise. Raise your leg as a 90 degree. Standing with your one leg. See if you can do for at least 10 seconds. Yes, just like what Winnie is doing right now. So 10 seconds, if that's okay, repeat the same things on the other hand. Okay. Anyone fall when they stand one single leg? I don't see anyone fall here. So that's a good sign. Okay, let's sit back and test. What is this test mean? Okay, this Solomon said we'll get back to your answer later. So this test also testing how your cerebellum is working right now. So this is called the Womber test. It's testing how well your vestibular and your cerebellum. For the cerebellum, do you remember what that's for? For coordinations. Coordination, your feet, your center of gravity, your eye, where are you in space? So that's why people usually having dizziness, having balance issues, their cerebellum also being affected. And for those people, usually they will also have dizziness, they feel overwhelmed, they have the supermarket syndrome. They sometimes, in the worst case, maybe they have like a air hunger issues, as the cerebellum also work with the brainstem as well. So if your balance is not ideal, usually that's the number one sign. You should take actions, as the cerebellum is the most important structure. The functions to coordinate your brain. Imagine if you cannot even balance yourself, how can you expect you can balance and coordinate your brain and entire nervous system? There's a really interesting research done a few years ago. They find out that for people who can stand for one leg for at least 10 seconds, their mortality rate is going to be double in the next 10 years. So for those who can stand on their one leg, there's a lot of chance the mortality would go up. But luckily, I don't see anyone here have such problem yet. Okay, maybe some of you didn't turn on the camera. I don't know how you do it. And then the reasons why they find out those people, their mortality rate double, not just because when they fall, they hit their head, they hit wherever, but also this test reflecting how well your cerebellum is doing. So if the cerebellum not working, your thinking not working, your blood flow don't working, your hormone don't working, so everything's not working so well. So if your balance is bad, make sure you take actions, okay? do the exercise, like change lifestyle, whatever you need to do. Okay, this is warning sign, a wake up or call for every one of you. So let's fill in the form together. Can we borrow Sneha again so that we make the exam more consistent? Or anyone want to do the test? Sneha, are you still here? I think she is not. Oh, okay. See you
Hi,
here.
I'm here.
Okay. Can you let me see?
Yeah.
Okay, see you here right now. I think the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, but it's okay. Cool. We see her. Okay, first test. Can you put both feet together? Okay. We don't need to see your feet. I want to see your upper body. Okay. Can you look straight forward and then close your eye? So everyone pay attention which side she was swayed to. So she swayed to the left side at the beginning, but then she swayed to the other side to keep herself balanced. Okay, Sleha, can you open your eye? So can you put your right feet in front of your left feet? Okay, look straight forward. Don't look at me. Look straight forward. Okay, and then close your eye if that's okay. Okay, you can open. So what we see is she also swayed to the left at the beginning, but she would immediately go to the other side. So at the end, you will notice she tried really hard to move to the right side to keep herself from falling. Am I describing correctly, Sneha? Is it what you feel? Okay. Can you repeat the same things with the other feet together? Okay, look straight forward and then close your eye. Okay, this one is way more dramatic. You can tell she is moving her lower body. Her lower body is on the left, but her right body is on the right side. You can open. Thank you. Do you feel like this time, when you put your right feet in front of your left feet, this time is way more unstable? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And then let's get back to the chart here. The side that you sway at the beginning is the side of the cerebellum not working as much. The side that you sway at the beginning is the side of your cerebellum don't work as much. So let's fill in the form together. For Sneha, it's pretty consistent. Everything is going to her left side. So let's get back to the chart. So first time, the sway to the left side. The second time, one feet in front of the other, also going to the right side. Let's just use a label. Left side, left side. And then the last time, another feet around, also left side. So everything is the left side. So that means the left cerebellum must be not working as well. So far we have a really clear pattern. The left cerebellum and then the right brain is not working as much right now. As I said, one test didn't mean anything, but we do the finger tapping, we do the RAM 3 times, we do the balance test 3 times, we do 7 tests already. If 7 tests point us to the same brain structure, same brain network, same side, most of the time we already can have a conclusions. This is only 7 of few dozen tests that I want to show you today. And let's see if I have anything to cover. Okay, and then the next one I want to show you, this is a little bit more advanced, but I want to show you guys together. The next one we're going to do the test is an eye movement test. How your eye move is directly controlled by how well your brain is functioning. Like when I move my eye, I'm using my brain, right? So let's say if there's a Ferraris driving in front of you from left to right side, if I'm looking at a car, if my eye is perfectly working, my eye should be tracking the car really, really smooth. Really, really smooth. But for some people, because those brain area is affected, the eye would move and then they stop and they would, or they would something like that. So we're going to do it all together to see if the eye is moving correctly. So this time it's quite hard to self-aware because usually it's eye helping them to see it. But there's also a tricks we can all do it together. So let's do it. Here's how you do it. I'm going to put your thumb in between your eye first, or you can grab a pencil. It doesn't matter. Just grab something between your eye and move it a little bit further. So the finger should be in between your eye and at your eye level. And at the moment, move your hand left to right at a horizontal line. And I want you to notice if your head would really want to follow. So normally, just our eye is moving. But for some people who can, their head would turn together, or they would stop, and then they just can't move their eye independently. And let's see. Okay, so I want you to repeat the same things with the other hand. Okay, after we do left and right, I want you to go up and down for me this time. Yes, up and down. Usually this is way more dramatic. For up and down, it's harder, so I don't want you to move that fast. Just move a little bit. Okay, so anyone notice when you move, your head will move together. Maybe you don't even realize, maybe you do. If you realize that, type a yes in the chat. If no, just type no. And right now, I want to use Sneha as an example again, so we get a more consistent checking. So Sneha, are you still here? Okay, you're here. Is that okay? If we check you one more time? Okay. So everyone look at her right now. So can you put your thumb in between your eye? Yes, eye level. Yes, a little bit further away. Okay. Can you move your hand left to right? Okay. Don't move that far away. Just move like tiny, a little bit. Yeah. Okay. You can stop. So for her, if you don't know what you're seeing, I'm looking at first, is her head turned together? And second, if her eye can smoothly track. Can anyone pick up anything before I give you the answer? It's super fast. If you blink, you can see. Anyone see that? No? Okay, let's do it together. So Snaya, can you get a little bit closer? Maybe put your head a little bit bigger so everyone can see your eye. If you don't wear glasses, can you still see? Okay, perfect. You're on a laptop, right? Okay. So I want you to just look at here. I want you to track this object. So everyone look at her eye. So look at the screen here. Okay. Can anyone notice when every time her eye turn to the left side, like when her eye move to the left side, her head will move together. Anyone notice that? It's okay if you don't notice. It's really hard if you're untrained. But let you know, every time I move the object to her left side, she can look, but her head will turn together. That means her eye can move that fast, so she had to turn the neck together to compensate that her eye can move. And I also notice some shaking in the eye. So what that means? Just for her case, and let's go back to the PowerPoint. Thank you, Sneha. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. For Sneha, every time she cannot move, so our eye can move to the left side, right? Can move to the right side. So this test is testing the same side of the cortex. If the eye cannot move to the left side, that means something in the left brain is not working so well in the cortex. So for her, it's the left side. If your eye cannot move to the right side, the right cortex is not working. So for her, it's all on the left brain. And if you pay attention, at the beginning of the finger tapping, we already know her left brain is not working as well because she cannot move her right finger. So right now, her pattern is really clear. Most of her left side of the cortex is not working as well. So for her, it's pretty clear. Everyone tracking so far? Or anyone notice how your eye move? And then let's answer some questions here. Yeah. And that said, it seems like when she looked to the left, the eye quickly moved the head. The eye quickly moved straight ahead. That means she want to look something, but she cannot. So she have to use other body part to compensate what she cannot do. So this is what we observe here. So anyone notice anything special about yourself today? This is going to reveal your own secret that you don't even realize. Isn't that interesting? Or am I just the one feel is interesting? If you're interesting, type interesting down below so that I know you're enjoying it. Okay, so let's go back to how do we map out the brain pattern. So let's do it all together. I want you grab out those pieces of paper and then we're going to walk through different pattern could be possible. So for Sneha, we know that it's really obvious her entire left side is not working so well. So for her, is right here. This is her brain map. This part of the brain need to work. And then there's also another two pattern most likely can appear in your chart. The most common second type is, let's say your left hand finger is low, the RAM is low, so you will find a white cortex and then the left cerebellum pattern. So it will be looking something like this. And then the next one you might find is completely opposite, which is the opposite side. So maybe your finger tapping is slow, your hand turning up and down is slow, your balance sway to the left side, the eye movement is bad to the other side, so you might find a right cerebellum and left cortex pattern. So usually you will either find this or like this. is anyone's pattern is like that? Or maybe sometimes you will find mix, but overall you can find this pattern most of the time. What I mean is mix. Sometimes, let me try again. This is super complex, but I want to make it as simple as we can. So sometimes you will feel slow here, you will feel slow here, but this side is way slower. So this would be, you will pick this side. Both hand is slow, but you want to pick the one side is way slower. And then you should be able to get the whole pattern as well. Can anyone tell me which pattern you might got? Or if you don't understand, you can turn on your camera and it's a chance for you to ask questions so that you know which exercise you should be doing tomorrow and by the end of the day. Because if you don't know which side is the problem, it don't work that well. As I mentioned yesterday, if you're doing generic things, you only get generic result. Only you know where's your issue, you know what to do with it. So Winnie, can you tell us which pattern do you get? Or can you tell me which cerebellum do you find? Is it the left side or the right side? Everyone type which side of the cerebellum do you find? So Katie said left, that's good. So if you find left cerebellum, your pattern should look something like this. If you find left cerebellum, you should find a right brain problem. Winnie said left side. Oh, everyone feel left side is weaker. So that's perfect. That's quite common. People having a left cerebellum, right brain problem. So this is a type of brain imbalance. The reasons why this is so common is because we don't use the left side as much as the right side. So the left side of the body get neglected over time. So when you don't use it as much, those sides tend to weaken over time. So the weaken become too weak, it become dysfunctions. When it dysfunctions long enough, the symptoms would manifest. So it depends on where are you in stage. So this is the second step of my brain clarity framework. And I shared with you all yesterday. This brain clarity framework is what help you get rid of your brain fog, ADHD, or whatever neurological symptoms you might have. The first step is assessment. We assess which part of the brain might be dysregulated, dysfunctions, or imbalance. Because if you don't know, you're just randomly doing things, and that's why people don't see results. Or sometimes it can make it worse because you're not targeting the brain. You're making the imbalance worse. So right now, we find out that which part of the brain might be in balance. And then the next step we're going to cover just a little bit today is the activate. So for, let's say, we use Sneha as an example. We find out that her left brain is quite low. So what she have to do is we're going to stimulate her one side of the brain to a certain level. When it wakes up, relatively, the other part of the brain would get weak as well because it's catching up. So from time to time, we have to do the assessment to see, hey, is it the left brain right now or the right brain right now? Maybe it will switch side because your brain changed so quick. So at that time, you would going to redo the assessment and do different type of therapeutic brain exercise to strengthen the other part as well. So otherwise, it will just keep in balance infinitely. So you have to balance to one side and do the other side and kind of zigzagging and reach it to a level that the symptoms would be gone. So this is the part of the accelerate. So today we cover the assess in these 2 hours. And the next one, we're going to talk about how we actually deal with it. We're going to cover the most for tomorrow, but today I want to give you something so you can start doing today. And maybe tomorrow you see some change, maybe not. As I mentioned yesterday, how long does it takes to see result? Do you still remember the neuroplasticity? To change your brain, it's only take nanoseconds. Even though when you're listening to me, you're changing the brain. But to make it permanent and more obvious, studies show usually takes 5 days minimum. To make it permanent, just like hey, if you want to learn a new skill, you need at least 15 days. So that this is day one, and I'm going to start doing it. And before we continue the step 2, I want to tell you a story. When I was in the States, I have my roommate, Jackie. Jackie first moved out by himself in the dorm. And one day I heard him just making a lot of noise in the kitchens. Almost like half an hour. And then suddenly he goes silent. And then I walk out and I want to see, hey, what is he making and why there's no good smell. So I'm curious and look and just trying to see what he is making. And then when I look at it, I find something like this. And I was super confused. He put all the oil, the seasoning, the meat, the veggie on the pot, just sitting on there without turning on the stove. And I would say, really interesting. And then I asked Jackie, hey Jackie, what are you cooking? Why are you putting everything like prepackaged? And then he looked at me, isn't how cooking supposed to be like? By the way, this is the first time he moved out and cooked by himself. So he asked me, hey, isn't it cooking supposed to look like? Can anyone tell me what seems to be a problem here? When you cook, if you want to make a delicious meal, will you put all the ingredient in the stove and then turn it on, or you put in the ingredient, cook it step by step? Is it step by step, or you put everything at once? It's step by step. So I told Jackie, hey, if you do it like that, I guarantee you it's going to be taste like super bad. It is eatable, but it is not what you expect. So I let him know, hey, to make a delicious meal, there's a step you have to follow. First, you have to turn on the stove, preheat it for 2 minutes, put in the oil, wait another minute, then you put the garlic, you put the seasoning, you put the meat, wait for 5 minutes, and then you put the broccoli, and then at the end you put the mushroom and the seasoning. So there's a step by step. And the number one reasons why I see people don't really excel in changing their brain, or they follow a lot of informations online, they do see some improvement. But for people that are symptomatic, they just stuck where they are. They never get better. For people that just need a little bit of help, like just mental health, like a brain health, just want to longevity, generic thing is okay. But if you are having symptoms, dizzy, brain fog, is really impacting your life, you're really realizing it, you have to do specific things in order to get result. Generic things, only generic result. So the takeaway is there's a step you have to follow. You can't just jump and it takes time. Put everything at once seems save time, but it's not. So the takeaway is there's a step you have to follow, and it's not about what you do, but how you actually do it. The how is important. We're just not doing it. The way of how to implement is what make the difference and see result. And then the most questions I get from my follower is, I just want exercise. Give me exercise and I should be all good. And this is not exercise. This is a specific brain-based exercise or a therapy. I still finding the word to describe it because when I use the word exercise, people just think it's grab and goes. In this 2 hour, I show you how complex it can get. If you don't know which side you need to work on, it really doesn't matter what exercise you do. And by the way, I want to show you this research. There's a lot of word, but I just say it out. People, they do a research of compare people who do generic therapy versus specialized therapy. They do people with ADHD, concussions, dysautonomia. For people who do just generic standard care, which means they exercise, they sleep better, they take medications. In 6 months of care, recover are highly unlikely. They find out only 4% of people doing generic therapy, only 4% of them actually getting better. Only 4%. So hundreds of people, only 4 of them is getting better. And in those people who don't get improved, 70% of them, actually the symptoms get worse in the next 5 years. Because they just did something and it's not targeted, so it didn't work. Do you still remember the research I showed you? Hey, they measure people have ADHD or different symptoms. They will slowly progress to something more severe. The reasons why is this type of imbalance, they don't resolve spontaneously. Maybe they resolve 4%. They will randomly do something and suddenly you get better. Those are just luck. The imbalance is just like a scale. If you leave it like scale like that, the worst part just get worse over time, just like it will sink to the bottom of the sea. So that's why you're lucky you're here. You know which side you have to work on. Do you feel like that's quite shocking? People do generic things. Only 4% of them actually get better. Okay, we cover this as well. Generic approach, generic result. And I want to show you one simple things you can do today. And if you do it tonight or tomorrow before the masterclass tomorrow, I want you to share with me if you feel anything change or maybe it is not. But we can see what your brain can do. So the first exercise I'm going to show you is called the complex movement. Complex movement target a lot about your brain, your cerebellum. Your cerebellum, remember, is all for coordinations and it loves novelties. So it really loves new stuff. So when you do, every time when you do something new and really complex, you will turn on the cerebellum. So there's two things I want you to do tonight. First, not tonight, maybe tomorrow. First, I want you to do something new, completely random. For example, if you're driving to work, try drive a new route. Or if you don't drive, when you go to the restaurant, order something new. Order something I never going to eat that stuff. Try that things because new things is a shock to your brain. It forces your brain, what is that? And it will turn it on. It's that simple. For those, no matter if you are working as an astronaut, if you're a pilot, they still have a chance of this brain imbalance because your brain is super good in using those default pathway. Even if you're driving, flying airplane every day, if you do it every single day, the brain make it a muscle memory. It becomes automatic. When you're not using your brain anymore, you're not using in a new way, Your body just think, hey, why should I waste all those energy to keep it here? We just kind of shrink it. We don't use it anymore. We give less food there. We give less oxygen there. So that's why the brain shrink and people having brain fog, because the body think, oh, I'm not needing it anymore. I don't need to learn new stuff. So let's get rid of it. So the first thing you do tomorrow, do something new. And second thing is, we're not just changing habit. This is the one of the simple things you can do. This is called the complex movement. Everyone, you can do with me. I want you to do it only on the side that your cerebellum is weak. So let's say for Sneha, the left cerebellum is the problem. So we're going to do everything on the left side of the bodies only. And everyone do it with me. So there's few variations. So the first easy one is do this. It looks super ridiculous and simple. And yes, it's this simple. But there's a way to do it. I want you to do like a figure of 8 here. Not a circle, but a figure of 8. You might notice your hand. When you do, you might, oh, I don't feel smooth here. That's the point. Or you feel weird. That's the point. Because you feel weird or you cannot do it, that means your brain haven't really turned on to do this. If you feel hard, you're on the right track. If that's hard, that means your brain don't know. When you do new stuff, the brain activate and rewire itself. So first things. And then, except we can do it on the hand, we also can do it on the feet as well. So it's really simple. You stand up and you do a figure of 8 on the floor. So this is something I want you to try tonight or tomorrow. There's still a lot of details of how to do this exercise. There's the quite principle I need to mention tomorrow to make it actually work the best it can be. So come back tomorrow and I will show you what's the secret sauce to make this simple exercise can be work to rewire your brain. Okay, so let's answer some questions. If anyone have questions, want to clarify or want me to cover tomorrow, drop it in the chat so that we will make sure we take care of that. If not, I will see you all tomorrow the same time. And also, if you have any friends want to come, welcome, and make sure you check the email. We're going to send out some resources and a recording as well. And let's check some questions here. So Annette said, what is the best way to get medical system in the US and other part of the world to adopt functional medicine and solutions? I can attest to what Dr. Tommy is saying about patient imbalance lead to worsen outcome. What is the best way? So this is some kind of is Annette asking what is the best way to let the people or let the doctor know, hey, this might be a problem. So I would say, what's the difference between, so everything I mentioned is not new. It's all in the textbook, and maybe you can Google part of it. But the only difference is how we see the things in a different lens. For medical doctors, all they see is life and death. If you are still walking, you're still breathing, it's not their concern. It's okay, you're still here. But what if we look at the root cause and what is causing, might be contributing to this dysregulation and dysfunctions of the human body, everything would make so much sense. Everything I mentioned is from the textbook. The neurologists know that, but they just don't see it in a functional perspective. All they see is this part broken? Should I cut it out? Should I do surgery? But what if the problem I just showed you is just really mild? It's not bad enough to become a pathology. So that's a key point. So that's the golden time to take actions. when it is long enough to become an actual pathology, your doctor can see it on the scan, just like this. Usually it's too late. So the point of this masterclass is how you can know something is happening and you can take actions right now. So I hope that answers your questions. Okay, with no other questions, I will see you all tomorrow. For those who sign up just today, we will also send out the day one email, day one recording, in the same email as well. So stay tuned. Thank you for everyone for coming. And before you go, let's take a pictures. And how can I put everyone's faces here? Suddenly, I don't know how to use Zoom. I can only, just so you're aware, I'm only seeing my face, and I know there's quite a lot of people in this chat room. And how do I make? Oh, right top. It used to have the option that. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, okay. If you want to be in a picture, you can turn it on, and we can take a picture together. So thank you everyone for coming. And okay, so a lot of people coming. Okay, well, I see you all tomorrow, and take some rest and try to do it, the exercise, the plan I told you, and let me know tomorrow if you notice anything different. You may notice something, maybe not. It's okay. Tomorrow we're gonna show you how to know if this is working for you or not. If not, how we can make it better. Okay, I see you all tomorrow. Thank you everyone for coming. See
Sorry,
you.
Dr. Tommy. Hi, this is Effie. How are
Effie,
you?
hey, hello. Do you have a
Hi,
questions?
how are you?
Yes.
Just very quickly, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to attend tomorrow's like live
Okay.
because I'm gonna be out at work. But yeah, I just wanted just to ask you, yeah, so I did actually have, yeah, I've been really like navigating like around this for like a long, long time. So I'm in my early 40s now. So I did have a severe head injury here. So I actually like fell off like a balcony, and I felt like I was like a miracle child afterwards because yeah, I like it really affected my speech. It like affected lots of my I did have lots of anxiety. I was very concussed. Like, yeah, so it was really, really bad. And that's the important time of the brain developing. And I felt like, yeah, I couldn't like really hold eye contact. Like I was a very social person out there. Then after that, I don't know if this was a coincidence, but I did develop some stuttering after that. So yeah, I've been doing therapy with that, but I'm just now after having children for the last 11 like years, pregnancy and hormones, and I did lose like my dad 4 years ago. So I feel like there's a lot that has happened in my like life, how I was like raised as a child too. So yeah, I feel like that has really affected the way how my brain has functioned. So yeah, I just wanted just to get your input a little bit more. Like I really like enjoy your exercises, but is there a way that you can really customize this a little bit more, like just to do it like a one-on-one and just to see,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Your question is how I can help you the best.
yes, pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
And you're not coming tomorrow?
Well, yeah, well, depending, I might be at like work, because
Okay.
of the time difference, I'm in Australia. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. And so for this 3 days
Mm,
masterclass is a introductions, and I'm trying to give you as much as I can to
mm-hmm,
get
mm-hmm.
everyone here to move forward. Because at
Yes.
the end, some people have the resources to move
Mm-hmm,
a little bit further. Some
mm-hmm.
people just can do whatever they can right now.
Mm.
Sometimes they're just
Yeah.
not in the right spot, no matter
Yes.
just like maybe psychologically,
Yeah.
physically, or financially. So
Mm.
for tomorrow, if you're anyone here is struggling or like you just want to keep your brain healthy, tomorrow I
Mm.
will give you the thing enough to get started. But for those who are serious to, hey, I have something bothering me a long time, I'm determined to
Mm-hmm.
make it better. Tomorrow I'm going to show you this. Usually there's two options we can work together.
Mm-hmm.
One is like a DIY program that I would be have entire framework, a lot of way more detail how you can customize by yourself. And then
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
second options is for more like a one-on-one, like a premium options. And
Mm.
because at the end we can use simple exercise to get, if we do the exercise correctly, even in my clinic, I don't have too many time for everyone. I just
Mm.
teach them exercise, they get 30,
Mm.
40% better. But for someone, hey, I have to go super, super good, then we have to use some technology.
Mm.
Some
Okay.
technology. We are going to also go over some of it tomorrow. Then
Mm.
there will be the options that you can go with if that's
So
something
do
you're really
you
keen to.
treat people through that like a from like away from the US? Like how do you treat it on like line when you treat people like away like because I'm in Australia, so yeah, how do you treat that with the technology
So
through
how
Zoom?
do we help people remotely?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah.
So right now, did you see me do the exam with Sneha?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so it's
okay.
like that, is it?
Okay,
Okay.
so first, there's only one of the many tests. We know how someone is working right now. And there's also some computerized tests. I haven't shown you guys yet. So there are a lot of tests you can do remotely. I know where could be the problem. And once we know where's the issues, we will
Mm,
customize the plan for you. And depends
okay.
on the funding, maybe just
Mm,
exercise
mm,
or maybe some super high tech technology, maybe like photobiomodulations, uh, electricity to more directly stimulate the brain. It really depends
mm,
on where you are and what
mm.
kind of things you can access to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are interested, you are welcome to email us or we
Mm-hmm.
will send you the link or you can drop the email here and my assistant will follow you. Hey, if you just want to like dive in, explore the options, we can also do that as well.
Yeah, so I feel like yeah, I'm just having issues like how to express my thoughts, my like regulating my like emotions, like just
Mm,
even like the words, like yeah, and it's just really, really bothering me because I am a very social person and I do
mm.
that for work and stuff, and I'm very passionate and I love educating and I love talking. So it's just yeah helping me to like navigate what's actually like really happening because I feel like the inside of myself is saying I do like need help, and like my husband's like, oh, why don't you just do like an MRI? And I've just been cutting it off. It's like, no, I don't think it's going to do it, and I'm a little bit scared to see, but I feel like there's a lot more other more advanced like resources out there to help with that. So yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. There's a lot of things you can do.
yeah, yeah. I'm a very holistic person. Like I like to do things from working from the stem cause of it or what's happening, than just like looking at it superficially. So yeah, I do that with my line of work. So yeah, but that's what, yeah, I wanted just to ask.
Yes, we can definitely help you. So the best way to help you, we're gonna
Mm.
schedule a call, like probably after the master class, we can
Yeah,
schedule a call, or you can welcome to come tomorrow, and
yeah.
then we can go from there.
I'll try to come tomorrow and see, like, with my work and stuff. But yeah, if not, is there a way you can do the like recording again, and that way I could
Yes, we will do that as
yeah.
well.
Okay, and then we can just, so I could give you just my email, and then um you guys can send out any like resources or stuff like that I could do in the
Yes,
like meantime.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay, and then everything else I could just contact you through social media like as well, or just the email.
Okay. How about if you can shoot me your email right now,
Email,
and my
yeah,
assistant would also get contact with you.
perfect. I really
Yep.
appreciate that. Thank
Okay,
you
you're welcome.
so much. Have a wonderful evening. Well, I'm in the daytime, but yeah, like I won't actually hold you up anymore. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And do anyone have any other questions? If no, I will see you
Um,
all tomorrow. And let's.
no,
Okay,
no, for
Sneha. Yep.
pain.
Do you have a question? Yep.
I actually just
It,
wanted you to if you could do another analysis on me. I don't know if it's for you. You showed the video of the dyskinesia of that woman who put her hands
yes.
on her lap and was doing it. So I was wondering if you could observe me. If not,
Okay.
I understand.
Uh, Give me 1 second. Colleen, can you follow up with the email? And Sneha,
Hello?
can you repeat that one more time
Hello?
as the Wi-Fi is kind of lagging? Is she freeze or am I the one who freeze? Okay, I can hear you. I can see you
I
moving again.
froze.
Yes,
Yes. Okay, can you see me now?
yes. And your question is,
The dyskinesia, that woman, the video
I'm
that
sorry.
you showed where she placed her hand on the thing.
And you want me to test it again, or you want me to?
Oh, you just
I'm sorry. You every time you say
you
something
mentioned the
important, it's kind of lagging. Yeah.
dyskinesia. Okay.
And you want me to test it one more time, or you have any question to clarify? Or if you can type it out, then that would be good. And for Colleen, there's someone also dropping another email. If you can follow up that as well.
Hi. I just had a question. So I joined in the middle of your talk. So I
Okay.
missed out the first half where I think it was like trying to find out which areas of the brain have like issues. But I just wanted to give a background on like the issues I was dealing with. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with long COVID, but that's
Yeah, long
caused like
COVID. Yeah.
yeah, so I've had that since 2022 and like I had like vertigo. I ended up having a lot of anxiety, panic
Mm-hmm.
attacks, dysautonomia, autonomia, like POTS
Yes.
and like a lot of these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And and I suffered mostly a lot with like anxiety,
Yes.
and a lot of like brain related issues, even with my speech now. Like I'm struggling to find the words. Before I used to speak really clearly. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure which parts of my brain are like um the issue really, or like with dysautonomia, are there like
Okay.
specific
I'm gonna give
exercises?
you a simple answer right now. And make sure you go check my recording. So yesterday we go through different part of the brain. Most of the time, COVID, the virus, the research showed that it attacked the, shall I use the word attack? They affect the brain area, the lower brain. The lower brain include the brainstem and then the cerebellum. So the brainstem is what make us survive, like the breathing, how to walk, our heart rate, our sympathetic, the stress system. So when COVID affect this foundational part, people will have the exact symptom you describe. It's the classic dysautonomic symptoms. And for the speaking, for the cognitions, the brain is like a factory. We cannot think as really linear. If this part of the brain affected, this must be the problem. If I trace the symptoms back to the brain area, usually it don't work that way. Because when the lower brain don't work, the higher brain, the function will get limited as well. Just like the factory. I use a story, hey, if an iPhone factory, if they can make 1,000 iPhone every day, but they can only make 500 boxes. At the end, they can only produce 500 iPhone to sell because those 500 boxes limit how the entire factory can produce. So it's the same thing for COVID, for dysautonomia. If the lower part is not working, the brainstem, the cerebellum not working, it will also slow down your cognitions, your higher brain. So for you, I don't know what your test result looks like, but usually for what I see, most of the time they affected the lower part. So make sure you go check the recording and come back tomorrow and review your chart, and we're going to show you some exercise. It will help you get started.
Okay. I also want to mention another symptom where I had I think it's accurate that it's the lower part because I had a lot of neck weakness as well. And I also had an MRI done and it was like the C4, C5, that was like a disc bulge issue as well that happened out of nowhere after COVID.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of like
also
neck
yeah
stability. Yeah.
yeah I also mentioned also yesterday, so I know what you guys are thinking. That's why I mentioned yesterday. For the brain, it's like if your brain is like an iPhone. For your iPhone to use 100% of your iPhone, it is not just used for it's not just for calling, right? You have a lot of games to play. So the phone need signal from the outside to work at a to use it used to the maximize its usage. So that means let's try again. So simple, just like your iPhone, it can just use with network or no network. Your brain need outside stimulations to keep it working. So the neck, the spine, the body is where the signals going into your brain. So if your neck has issue, your brain also don't work as well. So that's why when people get neck instability, their posture is bad, their brain is also bad as well. So make sure you fix your posture. But this is the paradox. When your posture is bad, the brain is bad. When the brain is bad, the posture is getting worse. So it's a loop and loop cycle. So make sure you go, if you can, do some light exercise. Notice your posture or strengthen your brain. One way or the other can help you break the cycle and start regaining some of the functions. So I hope that would help you. So if you still have more questions, come back tomorrow. Okay? Okay. And for snare, give me 1 second. Let me write something down before I get to you. Okay, Sneha, what's your questions? I think she get freeze again. Okay. Anyway, so if you have any questions, come back tomorrow, and then we will all answer it at the end of today. I'll see you everyone. Bye bye.